Hi, my name's Will Dickey. I'm the co-chair of the advocacy committee for the Spina Association. And it's that time of year again. Teal on the Hill's coming up February 27th. It's going to be virtual again this year. And for those interested, and if you haven't signed up, please sign up by February 11th. That's February 11th. It's important you go ahead and register so we know to expect you and get certain materials ready. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of advocacy for young adults. And I have the pleasure of being with Charlotte Mountz and Shoshana Siegel. Ladies, how are we?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I guess we'll just start out with an easy question. What's the importance of advocating as a young adult? Because let's be honest, not a lot of people don't get active in politics or in their community until they're about my age. So how is that important as a young adult?
So advocating as a young adult is really important because it helps us facilitate and grow our skills for when we're over 18 or when we're finally going to our doctor's appointments alone, and we can stand up for what we need ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Charlotte, what do you think?
I think one thing, and I am 18, I'll be 19 in 5 months, and I have not hit this yet, but one thing I hear a lot about is the struggle for transition to adult care and how hard it is to find adult care. And so I think that's a big thing for young people is when you're making that transition is you have to advocate for a lot of things, but in particular, getting the care you need. So I think that's probably one of the most important things, like bringing awareness to that lack of care. And
can you tell us about? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Finding that care.
Gotcha. Now, can you give us an example of, a situation that you've already experienced that you've had to advocate for yourself, specifically for healthcare?
I personally don't think I have had to advocate for myself much for healthcare yet.
Anything else?
I'm very privileged that a lot of my advocacy has been for other people in my community, but I advocate for others in my community and in anticipation of issues I may face in the future. So I think that's something that's really important, like to keep in mind. I may not face certain things right now, but I may face them in the future.
Shoshana, what about you?
Piggybacking off of what Charlotte said, by close to age 21, most of us are, and 21 is like an old age for it. Most of us aren't allowed to go see our children's doctors anymore. And most of us have only children's doctors from that point on. And so from that point on, we have to find doctors, and we have to find people who know about spina bifida and how we don't have to go find a doctor and say, this is what spina bifida is, because it can be really hard sometimes.
Can you ladies give me an example of, the positive effects of your advocacy thus far as a young adult? Like any specific, maybe at a doctor's appointment, or, Charlotte, you advocating for someone else,
I think probably the biggest positive advocacy moments I've had Teal on the Hill, and whether was the last time it was in person, which was my first Teal on the Hill, or the last couple of years when it's been virtual, is whether it's in person or virtual, seeing that, knowing I can just make a difference with people on Capitol Hill and those staffers, and telling my story.
Gotcha. Shoshana, let's piggyback off of that. What have you gotten out of Teal on the Hill so far as a young adult?
So I started Teal on the Hill when I was 13 years old. And at 13, I wasn't doing much of the advocating or having the confidence I do right now. But I remember feeling a sense of empowerment and, maybe I can help my community, and then it will give me confidence to help myself in my doctor's appointments or just daily life.
Mhm. Charlotte, what about yourself? Anything else you'd like to add further?
I mean, I've gotten so much out of Teal on the Hill.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what Shoshana has said, and I really relate to Shoshana in that our first Teal on the Hill was the same Teal on the Hill, and she was 13, I was 15, and I remember I was also not doing a lot of advocating. I didn't know anybody. I was super shy, and being with SBA and advocating at Teal on the Hill and about SBA stuff these past few years has really helped me to come out of my shell and gain a sense of confidence and a sense of community and a sense that I can make a difference.
Yeah.
And the biggest part of that.
I remember my first Teal on the Hill. It was the first night. It was like a mixer type thing. And this Teal on the Hill was in person. And I remember walking in, and in my head, I was like no one here looks helpless. Because at that time, I only started advocating 4 years ago. 4 years ago. I remember looking around and being like, oh, I can do something with my life. And it hadn't hit me until then that I actually could.
Awesome. Well, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, Teal on the Hill is once again going to be virtual, but it still has a lot of impact. Would any of you ladies want to share your experiences of how Teal on the Hill is as a virtual experience?
Yeah, so Teal on the Hill last 2 years has been virtual, and the first year it was a little bit weird not being in person, but it has allowed us to do things that we might not have been able to do if it was in person. One of those big things being people can participate who may not have been able to participate before.
Exactly. Due to mobility issues. Yeah.
They don't have to deal with traveling and everything that comes with that. So you can just sit on your couch, provided you have a nice background, and talk to those congressional aides, and you get to make a difference from your living room, and you get to have a community on your screen. And we're going to have some sessions related to community too. So you're not going to miss out on the community aspect either.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You just experience it from your living room.
Shoshana?
Being online, like Charlotte was saying, has really opened up this opportunity to different margins of people. Some people can't travel. And even as we're getting older, even for me at almost 17, it's hard to travel and it's painful. And it makes me happy that it gives me hope that I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Take your time.
It gives me hope that there's a way for even when I'm 30, and if it hurts now, it probably will hurt worse later. When I'm 30 and I bid my time, that I can still do what gives me my passion and advocate, but I can do it online. And even though it's online, you still get your sense of community and you still get to interact with people.
Definitely. I agree. And, I'll say for being at every event, whether it's in person or virtual has been really good for our community, I think. I think a lot of people from various parts of the country, old and young, have been able to get together who couldn't either afford or couldn't physically get up to DC. So I think it's a great opportunity. More than ever, I think this world has adopted to virtual meetings like this, and it definitely has its impact.
Yes.
Anything else, ladies, you want to say about Teal on the Hill, your experiences?
So I think it's really important to note that Teal on the Hill, it gives the person who's advocating in it a really good feeling of confidence. So even if you're not going to all these meetings, you're still in your daily life have more confidence to stand up for people with disabilities.
Yeah, and advocate for yourself in your everyday life too, beyond Teal on the Hill.
Absolutely, because it never stops. Advocacy never stops.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you guys so much. Privilege to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
And once again, Teal on the Hill going to be virtual again this year, February 27th. And make sure you register by February 11th.